Anthropic, I wouldn't know Anthropic if I tripped over it on the street, commits $50 billion to build AI data centers in the U.S.
I just read up on it, and Anthropic was opened by former employees of OpenAI, so it's another version of OpenAI.
I wouldn't know OpenAI if I tripped over it on the street. I mean, these are private companies. I don't think
they're physically available on the street.
Where are they getting the money? Caroline Hyde, she's the best person to talk to. BTech Co-Anchor for Bloomberg News, joining us live here in the Anthropic Broker Studio. What a time to be covering tech like you and Ed Ludlow do, Caroline. Every day there are major news items from major companies and just amazing amounts of dollars. Today, again, Anthropic commits $50 billion to build AI data centers in the U.S. How do you put it in context?
I mean, you become a bit numb.
Yep.
And then you look to some of the other whopping numbers, like the $600 billion that Mark Zuckerberg has said he's spending in capital expenditure on AI data centers. You go, oh, actually, 50 billion doesn't feel that much.
Right.
But interestingly, Anthropic, what's interesting about this one is, look, they have been reliant on investment from strategics for their access to cloud. Google, massive investor in Anthropic. And with that comes access to cloud and to compute. So too has AWS, Amazon, and AWS has been a real provider of chips in particular. Remember, really Anthropic has been a strategic partner to these cloud companies because they've been helping them build out their chip offering, and they've been helping training models on the future generation of these vertically integrated companies. But now they're saying, look, we think the US needs to continue to build out its AI infrastructure, as you've heard from Sam Altman, who's already saying he's going to be spending trillions on data centers and all the capital expenditure that goes with it. Then, of course, we have the likes of Mark Zuckerberg all in on it as well.
Sure.
So it feels as though Dara Amadei, who was at OpenAI, came over and set up Anthropic to do it in a more cautious, humanity-friendly way. He's now saying, look, us too. We need to put some infrastructure out here.
Okay, so OpenAI is to ChatGPT as Anthropic is to Claude. That's the chatbot that they use.
Wow.
How widely used is this Claude chatbot?
So they are really nailing the enterprise space. This is where they've managed to lead, in particular when it comes to coding. So yes, they don't have 800 million weekly users in the same way that ChatGPT does, but people love it in the enterprise. And that really has been their winning formula. They've been really rather profitable thus far, more profitable at least, or seeing more revenue growth than OpenAI has been seeing, because OpenAI has been all about the spending, all about the reinvestment. And in many ways, Anthropic has been seen as some sort of more asset-like version of this. Now they're kind of casting that off a little bit, but they just raised $13 billion. They are valued at $183 billion.
Wow.
That was back in September. And they have 300,000 business customers.
Yeah.
So they have been managing to show that the business model works.
Is there any expectation, Caroline, that these companies may come public at some point down the line? Because I just think about the money they're spending. And I know a lot of people want to throw money at them, but maybe even the public markets. Are they talking about that at all?
Well, Sam Altman has been saying, look, I can't give you a date, but clearly they were on a path in the next couple of years to going public. And that is the idea, because many of these businesses, these founders feel that it's their duty. It's a duty to be able to allow the everyday retail investor, as well as these very deep-pocketed venture capitalists, to benefit from their businesses and be able to take a chunk in within that. So we're seeing that these companies are talking about going public. We've heard it slightly less from the Anthropics of this world, but I think certainly there's going to be a push that these companies can't remain private forever, and these boatloads of cash that they need can't keep on coming from the same group of investors.
My guess is when they do go public, the founders will have a huge swath of the voting shares, and everyone else won't. Kind of like the Metas of the world.
Yes, exactly. And what's interesting is you mentioned Meta. They accessed the bond market just a couple of weeks ago to fund some of these. $30 billion. Yeah, just incredible.
But remember, Sam Altman doesn't actually own any significant equity in OpenAI.
Ah, okay.
So how they would structure him to have voting shares is another thing entirely. They, of course, are owned by the overall charitable, not-for-profit. Is
that complicated
meant to be
structure.
in control in some ways, and has stock of OpenAI. But I don't know what the breakdown of shareholding is by the founders of Anthropic.